Namaste, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you the 5 stages of the spiritual awakening process, journey, etc. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Victor, this is way too personal, multifaceted and dynamic of a process to chunk up into 5 stages, and I completely agree. But what I can say, in looking back at not only my own journey over the last decade, but also working with literally hundreds of people from all walks of life, from all over the planet, you can chunk it up a little bit. And you can certainly glean a lot of insight by understanding the significance and some of the maybe the challenges and the things to expect with each particular chapter of the journey. So for anyone who knows they're going through a spiritual awakening and wants a better understanding of what they're going through and also where they're at in their journey, then this video is going to be perfect for you. And the first phase, most of you have already probably been through. I call it the shake-up phase. This is where life will in some way, shape, or form get your attention and let you know that what you're going through is more than just a funk or a midlife crisis, that there is something profound going on with you right now. It's now undeniable and it's spiritual in nature. There's the shake-up phase where life will let you know that. And this can manifest in many different ways. For a lot of people, it's a mystical experience. Like, wow, I floated out of my body. I talked to Jesus. There must be something divine out there. And that opens them up to the realization they're going through an awakening. A lot of people, not a lot of people, some people, it's something kind of tragic, like a car accident, or, you're not dead or anything, but something where, a loss of a job, where, something really big that really wake you up and cause you to step back and instantly start reevaluating yourself and your life path and all those things, which is kind of what the spiritual awakening process does for you anyway. There's an event that causes you, it shakes you awake. Most people, or a lot of people, will also start seeing synchronicity. The number patterns on the clock, 1111, 111. You just start seeing these repeating numbers over and over again, simultaneous to the thought that, you know what, I think I'm going through something. I think I'm changing. I'm suddenly looking at everything in my life vastly differently. And also, there's all these numbers. And also, I had this crazy thing happen to me. So it's life, again, will use what is necessary to wake you up. For a good chunk of people, finally, I'll touch on this last part, but there's probably more to it than I'm going to get into in this video. But a lot of people find themselves 2 things: highly anxious, like suddenly, like out of the blue, they have all this anxiety, and they're also really, really depressed. And they go to the doctor. I have anxiety, doctor. I'm depressed. The doctor's not going to help you, even if they put you on some kind of magic pill. It doesn't go away. It lingers and it intensifies. Now that might, for those people, that's what they needed to cause them to, guess what? Look within. The shake-up phase is to cause you to relinquish the hold that your external reality has on your focus, so that you can stop and look within. The awakening process is an inner journey that does reflect in your external reality eventually, but we have lost the balance of focusing both in and out of our lives, and the spiritual awakening in some way, shape, or form will start causing you to look within by any means necessary. Fortunately, if you're watching this video, you've probably already been through that phase and are curious for the next step. But just in case not, know that if you're feeling really, really depressed or really, really anxious, and you resonate with what the craziness I'm talking about, then that's your way of revealing to you that you are on an awakening journey, and that depression and anxiety and so forth is actually going to help you heal and transform yourself. Number 2 is the Hermet Phase of awakening, and I already have other videos going much more into detail about this phase, but generally this happens after you're shaken awake and you know you're going through something, and you sort of, in a sense, giving yourself permission to go through the cleansing and the healing and the energetic upgrading process, the process of expanding your mind and stretching your beliefs and reevaluating every aspect of yourself. This is the Hermet Phase. It's where life finally gets your attention and you finally heed the message or the call to look within. And then when you start looking within, you realize there's a lot of work to do, and then the work begins. And the Hermet Phase generally takes people out of the game a little bit. We are not doing so much activity in the external world, and you're now all on board, on focusing on yourself. Generally, you read a lot of spiritual books and you're really seeking enlightenment in your own way, and you're doing your meditation and you're going through energy healing, and there's many other things that are part of this I'll get into in just a moment. At this point of the journey, you probably find that you're being led around, you're guided in a sense through synchronicity. You've developed a stronger faith in your process, and you're letting your intuition guide your steps now. And sometimes your intuition can guide you into steps that you never anticipated taking, steps that make you question, is this really the right move to make? Because I'm unsure. And most of the people who know me and know my patterns, they think something's up, and I just don't know. So this is like that test of faith where you're just following the synchronicity. And as you do, even though there's those moments of doubt, life will always come back around and show you that, see why you did that? See why you were nudged to do that? See how well it worked out? Well, good. Remember that, because we're doing this now. Right? And you're probably just binge watching a lot of videos just like this on YouTube, reading blogs, reading books, interested in your food and in raising your vibration and learning about the secret government and aliens and all that kind of cool stuff. This is where you're at right now. You're in the Hermet Phase. It's a very important phase to, again, expand your mind, and more importantly, to go through the energetic upgrade that you need to go through. This is a time of raising your vibration. And as you do this, there are also other symptoms where the anxiety might be really, really intense. You might feel so sensitive where you don't even want to go out in public. You don't want to go out with your friends. Just busy places have too much of like a racy energy, and it drains you, and you absorb some of that crazy energy. And I know this all sounds kind of weird, but it's a time where you're just really cracked open, really focused on finding out who you are and why you're here, and you're finding it. Synchronicity is guiding you to more of yourself, one step at a time. Before I move on, a little word of the wise that this is you. If you're like, yeah, dude, I'm in the Hermet Phase, what do? You just do what I just said. You follow your intuition, you follow yourself, ignore the naysayers, ignore the conventional norms, even your own personal mental judgments upon what you're doing. Let go and follow your intuition. It will never lead you astray. It'll only always lead you to more of yourself. And as you reclaim more of yourself, you will literally get happier and happier and more fulfilled and whole and complete and content, and all the things you want in life are within yourself. And the Hermet Phase is a way where you guide yourself in that direction. Number 3, I wrote down the integration phase, or the life purpose phase. At this point, you're probably well on your way. You're probably very comfortable with videos like this. Nothing I said is going to shake you up, probably at all. In fact, you might even be used to even more esoteric concepts that I'm exploring in this video. At the same time, you sense things are changing, the tides are shifting, and you don't know what it is. You can't quite put your finger on it. Some of the magic and like the zest and like the excitement of the awakening is wearing off. Maybe your synchronicities are coming fewer and far between, less frequently. And at the same time, you haven't maybe undergone, you didn't really experience some magical, crazy, transformation yet that you thought you were building up to. And all of a sudden you find yourself kind of back in your life where you were. Yeah, you're expanded. Yeah, you see things differently and more clearly, but here you are. You got bills to pay. For me, I had mouths to feed, children, obligation, responsibility. The synchronicity is wearing off. The magic's wearing off. You still have no idea where it's going. You're waiting for that next intuitive nudge that has been guiding you up to this point, but they're not coming. Where do you turn? What do you do? It's the integration phase, man. It's the purpose phase. This is where you claim your power. This is where you stop requiring so much what seems to be external guidance through synchronicity and so forth, and you start deciding what you want to go out there and create, who you want to be, what you want to represent, and what you want to do out there in the world. It's going to involve some form of helping others in some way, whether it be through your art and creativity or some other more direct way. It's a time where you've already kind of found yourself, but you're still waiting, like you think you need to wait longer. Like you feel like you don't have enough information to just start going forward. And it does feel that way. I totally have been there. For me, my hermit phase ended in South Florida. I was shaken up in my hometown in Michigan. And I let go of everything, and I moved all the way down to South Florida, and I went through my hermit phase where I was lucid dreaming and doing all the cool spiritual stuff. And all of a sudden, I ran out of money, and I didn't know what to do next. And the magic had worn off for me. And it came down to it for me, and this is what guides a lot of people back into the world. The integration phase was I was running out of money. I had to get a job. I had to get working. So I just decided to start a gym. And it was so scary. I didn't have all this like divine magic just leading the way. It was more like Victor just figuring things out because he couldn't really wait any longer. Okay, but here's where the magic is. In that process of Victor just figuring it out seemingly on his own without being so directly led with divine guidance, guess what? That's when I discovered who I am, what I'm made of, and just how powerful I am. That's where that was a huge shift. I know a lot of you watching are in this phase right now. You're waiting for the next sign. The sign is in you. It's in your own common sense. It's in what do you want to do, not what should you do. It's what do you want to do? Well, go do it. It might not be easy in the beginning. We're on Earth. We got forces against us. You're gonna have to figure it out and kind of like white knuckle it and sort of like dodge some punches along the way, and you might get bruised up, you might get smacked in the face once or twice, but guess what? You're gonna still be standing at the end of the day feeling like a total badass, which you are. And this integration phase is all about realizing who you are and what you're made of. And then once you have found yourself in an experiential way, you start radiating that into everything you do, everyone you meet, and that's when you become a real powerhouse of a light worker, of a light bearer, of a, can't think of any other cool word, but you catch my drift. Number 4 is the embodiment phase. This previous phase was more about to get you out of the clouds in a sense, which it was appropriate to be in for a time, and bring you back down to earth and remind you that you're on earth and you got stuff to do. And now that you've accepted that and you're doing it, you're still looking for something deeper. You might still not quite be satisfied. You still know there is something more that you haven't found yet, and what you haven't found yet is your true life purpose. And that word ticks off a lot of people because they're frustrated because they know they want it, but they just still haven't found it. And they've been looking for a long, long time and it's still not there. So it's easier to say, screw it. Not everyone has a life purpose. I don't, buddy. Yes, you do. And the more angry you are at what I just said, the closer you are to finding it. Your life purpose won't leave you alone. It's going to keep calling you and nagging at you over and over again, just to keep you taking that next appropriate step. It's the time where you want to find your purpose and you're going to do it. You're taking action in some sort of way. You've accepted there is something more and you know you're going to go for it. And as you go for it, inevitably, good luck fighting it for a long time. It's not going to happen. As you inevitably go forward, you also during this phase go through profound cleanses, profound healings, like mind-blowing. All of what I said before was in a sense healing. I know you've been dealing with stuff this whole time, don't get me wrong. This is where you really let go of some crazy stuff that you didn't even know you were carrying around. Past life stuff, ancestral stuff, weird cycles you absorbed from your parents, all that kind of stuff you become so aware of, just how influenced by others and conditioning you have been, and you start letting it go. Pockets of stale, old energy leaving your system in sometimes a noticeable way. and you're going towards your dreams and your purpose, and you're healing a ridiculous amount along the way. Meanwhile, you keeping up with the Joneses. You got your job, you got all this other stuff, maybe kids, relationships. You're back in the world. So it's like a real juggling act, I will admit. During this phase, for me, it was when I had to get out of my hermit phase and start making some money. I started a gym. I opened up a gym because I was a personal trainer prior to that, and that's all I knew. Anyway, well, I was like, okay, cool. I found my thing until this phase hit, and I started to really know there's something actually even more than this. And at that time, my gym started breaking down, and I was really seeking my life purpose. And I was going through these periods of like deep healings where I would start to correlate my external patterns and cycles in life, which were more visible and faster paced than ever, I'd correlate them to my own issues, basically. And I got really good at that. And I would just sometimes sit there in my little computer chair and just think about what had transpired that day, and I'd correlate it to some kind of inner wound or something. And as I would it would click with me, I would literally feel a pocket of stale energy just leaving my system. I just felt like my vibration got so high during that phase. But this was the hardest phase of all for me. This is when the financial insecurity was definitely there. The real world did not stop because I was going through all this stuff. It was a matter of I had to manage all of that stuff, my family, my wife, my job, everything, and go through this insane healing process while not at all being fulfilled, because I knew there was something more to my life, the life purpose. But guess what, Jack? I found it. Oh, and it was worth the wait. Oh, it was perfect timing, as you can probably already intuitively expect for yourself. The timing was brilliant. By the time I found my life purpose, which is exactly what I'm doing right now before you, that's when I really, everything was stacked. I was still on rocky ground. In fact, we just had an earthquake an hour ago here. So I still felt like that. But everything worked out. And as I got deeper and deeper and deeper into my own healing and my life purpose started to literally take on a life of its own. And that's when you get into the next phase. So once I discovered my passion and my purpose and started going forward with it, that's when all the things I really wanted to happen, years back when I first woke up, started to actually happen. I started to actually create financial abundance for myself finally. And that ache of debt was finally eased. And I developed a lot of freedom in my life, where my day-to-day life was of my choosing. It was of my own creation. And it was funded and fueled by my life purpose, something I just loved to do anyway. I started meeting the right people and developing really good relationships. I relocated my family to a much better place where I just feel so at home here in Las Vegas, believe it or not. And that's when the real results started to happen. But it still didn't come easy. Even though I found my purpose and things were going well, to this day, it's a continued healing process for me. It's a continual going forward and expanding in my own excitement. And as I do, there are blocks that come up as I press outside of my boundary yet again. And this cycle just keeps happening. But as I continue to go forward out of my comfort zone, sharing my truth with the world, my life gets better and better and better and better and better. And this is something that you can all look forward to. It's literally not a product of winning the lottery. It's this treasure you uncover within yourself. The magic, all that, what you seek, it really is within. And that seems kind of boring. Oh, it's all within. Well, what about my Ferrari? Here's the thing. Within, what is within is so is without. I don't know how that saying goes, but it's as you find out this treasure within yourself, it's out there in the world too. It's all reflected out there for you. But what sort of feeds this windfall of everything you've been waiting for is sharing. It's sharing. Yes, even you who doesn't feel yet ready or who feels shy, it's sharing and expressing. All of my abundance is a reflection of what I put out there for other people. And it's scary, man. It's one of the scariest things in the world to really express your authentic self, whether you're on YouTube or whatever, you could do it in any infinite numbers of ways. But as you do that, and there's no magic bullet, the blocks will come up. You'll feel frozen day after day. It's just about pushing through with imperfect action, doing your best to share and express the light that you've uncovered. It's not about keeping it to yourself, it's about sharing it brightly with the world. And as you do, you start getting these amazing ideas, and it's almost like your life becomes like you're just the observer. Like all the things you do and create don't even come from you and this little life you've lived. It's your soul starts to kind of take over everything and live through you. You just get to kind of sit back and enjoy the ride. And all the cool things I set aside, what feels the best is the sharing. The thing that's scaring you probably right now, if you're in this phase, it's what's going to make you really, really happy. The feeling of sharing, not even the impact you have. That's awesome, but that's more of like a mental accomplishment. Oh, I'm helping people. That's fantastic. I'm talking about the actual feeling of connectedness with your soul's truth expressing out of you. Just that human experience of doing that. There's nothing like it. And that's where you're all heading. And doing that's going to lead you to everything you want anyway, but that's going to become totally secondary to that feeling, that in the moment feeling of being at home with who you are. All right, I know it's kind of a longer video, my friends, but I wanted to kind of lay it out there for you, a real comprehensive recollection of the different phases of my own awakening. But again, I saw these themes playing out with all my clients. Every single one, I've coached hundreds of people. And everybody fell into one of these categories. And I always knew exactly what to do with them based on the category. I knew how to encourage them and help them to embrace it. So whatever you resonated with throughout this whole video, embrace it. Just embrace it. Just trust it. And just trust yourself. And just know the stuff I shared about at the end is it's the payoff, and it's worth it. I know you feel it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's more worth it than you can even fathom. It's amazing. It's an amazing life that you're in the process of cultivating from within yourself. With that, I'm gonna bounce, my friends. If you guys want any more help, I do provide all my new subscribers with a free guided meditation. It'll definitely help you connect to your intuition. I'll leave a link down below. I made it myself. It's how to connect and reunite with your higher self consciously. It's totally free. Check it out down below if you like. There's a bit of a little link in the description and also the top comment. Look out for that. With that said, I'm gonna bounce. You guys like hearing about the spiritual awakening and all this kind of stuff? You can also click subscribe. I make videos 2 or 3 times a week sharing my experiences and my wisdom and my guidance for all you souls out there. When I started doing this, I felt there was a big lack of usable information for the things I was going through. And my YouTube channel is my best attempt to fulfill what I perceive to be a big void, especially now. All right, my friends, enjoy the day. I'm gonna bounce. Have an amazing one. Much love. Namaste.